San Bernardino High School teachers, welcome to your Datawise training session. Today we're going to look at a couple of basic items such as logging in. Notice that there is a username and a password that you're going to be using. So you put in those two, you click on Login. The first page that will be coming up is a list of all the various exams that you've created. You'll notice that I already have quite a few, but you have across the top you've got My Tests, which you can click on and it will go to all of your tests. You have tests in which you have the option of looking at new, searching in case someone else has made an exam for you, scheduling and printing, importing, maintaining, correcting, scanning errors, etc., which you won't need most of those at all. Item banks, if you would like to search those, especially those of you in math and English and science where there are substantial exam questions that are already in the Datawise system. With Select, you can go with particular students you want to examine. You have preferences along here. You have a help page, and then of course the go-to. You can check out any of these particular items here. As I understand the training for today, what we're going to be taking a look at is creating a new test, preferably a new common test. So you click on New, and you have the options of creating any number of possibilities. First, you might want to type in your particular test name. I like to have a naming nomenclature. So I'm going to go 001 Spring 2010. That allows me to know which semester I happen to be using on this. I can allow others to view, update, and or delete. And then one of the things that your division chairs can tell you about is multiple test forms, which if you're going to be using exams across more than one class, we highly recommend. For the grade, let's say that we're going to be sticking with freshmen. For subject, we're going to be sticking with math. Why? Because I happen to be working with the math teachers for this one. And then we're going to click Save. It thinks for a little bit, it connects with the server. And it's still connecting. I happen to be off campus at the moment, so this is why it might be taking so long. Okay, now we've got this possibility, so that successfully saved test. Excellent. So what we're going to be doing here now is we've got the math as our subject and then selecting from test bank. We clicked on selecting item from test bank, and again it goes through and it goes to the database that we have sitting on campus, and now we have several other options. Now we can go to math, and then we can, anytime we see this plus sign, we can drop it, we can click on it, and we can drop through so that there are any number of possibilities that we can go to. So because one of our big things is algebra, we're going to click here on algebra, and then you see that algebra is broken down into subcategories within its particular subject area. And let's say that we like numbers, properties, operations, and linear equations. And so what we've got here is the various state standards that are listed. Now the first state standard, you notice it has a plus sign, and so you can see that the mouse over, which is going to be very common here in Datawise. Item bank items are aligned to this standard. Students identify and use the arithmetic properties of subsets of integers and rational, irrational, and real numbers, including closure properties for the 4 basic arithmetic operations where applicable. And yes, that's in student-friendly language. So you click on that, and then you have one other possibility. In terms of students use properties of numbers to demonstrate whether assertions are true or false. So anyway, you click on any one of the standards that you might have. I'm just going to click on these two standards because you notice in parentheses you have the number of questions that the item bank has within each of those categories, and I quite frankly don't want to go through hundreds. Okay, so what we do then is we can come down here and we can have a test name, instruction name, what contains if we want to search. We can try to search for an owner. We can look for specific ones that are related to the community has created, that is to say our school. CST released items, the ETS item bank, and other possibilities depending on what your division chairs happen to know that we already have. We can go to any kinds of questions that are grouped or not grouped. We can go to, I'm going to stick with multiple choice questions only. And then we can also choose by Bloom's taxonomy, which is a nice little feature that is not always available, but it's one of those things that most test banks do not have. And then we can limit our search to, well, let's just say 50 items. And so what we can then do is click on Search Item Bank, and the database starts doing its search. And then now what we have over here on the left-hand side is the item name, which of the following statements, and is false. And so that you then have A, B, C, D, A, sum of negative 12 times the sum of negative 12 times the sum of negative 12 equals 3 times negative 12. I have no idea what that means, but it looks mathematic, and apparently it's false. I don't know how to do that particular problem, but then I passed algebra back in the 1970s, so I think algebra's probably changed since then. But over here on the left-hand side, you mouse over each one of the various questions that you might like, and then if you like it, you can then simply select over here on the left which expression is equal to 2 plus the square root of 3 over 2 minus the square root of 3. And of course you have to solve for that. Let's say we like that one, so we're going to add to it the value of 5 exclamation point. That's a new one, I don't recall that. Is that a 5 factorial? It's been a while since I've done any kind of number. And then which property is illustrated by the equation? And then there's a little, what appears to be something like a heart in there. I don't know. Again, some of these new things that they didn't have computers when I was in school. So I'm gonna, then you notice also over here on the right hand side that you've got the algebra standard and substandard. And so it's because I narrowed down my original search, all of these are going to be the same over here. As you can see, they're all part of 1.0. So I want to add selected items. The database is going to think for a moment. And now I have my test, and so I'm going to click on Save. And it's going to think for a moment. And now that I've got it successfully saved test, it's going to say, for proper results and reports, please add cut points for all standards. Cut points are something that are nice to add when you get the opportunity, once you have established the validity and reliability of your particular test questions. Next thing you can do is go to Print Preview. So if you've made a test within Datawise, if you print preview test, it will show you the test. If you print preview the test form map, you've got that, and then of course the answer key. So let's print preview test. It'll give us a nice little context here. You see test is loading, and it shows us those particular questions. There were 4 of them that we had. And then we've got here, in terms of the correct answer, do we want the correct answer shown? Yes, and there's a little check mark next to it. There's a little check mark here. But when we're looking at this particular thing, and I'm realizing that you probably cannot see all of, there we go. You've got these different options that you can create up here. And you can either print or just click on Done. Now I'm just going to click on Done for the moment. And so that's basically how you are able to create your own specific kind of test with the test bank questions that are already there. It involves mousing over, it involves choosing, it involves choosing the questions based on the standards that you see. And again, you have them from algebra all the way up through geometry, algebra 2, trig, mathematical analysis, linear algebra, probability and statistics, advanced placement probability and statistics, and calculus. And I know the AP teachers might want to delve further into this one. And so you've got the ability to make a test, and hopefully this will give you enough of a refresher to create your own test for the particular subject area and group of teachers that you're going to be working with.